Who is greater? K, a warrior born with silver in their mouth, or a pauper who fought their way to power? A princess trained in combat since birth, or a farmer's daughter who rose as a general? A man made for greatness, or a boy made by circumstance? Does blood define power, or is power in the blood? How many heroes started as zero and ended up at the top? Welcome to our channel. Join me as I tell you their stories. In this episode, we explore the origins of 3 legendary warriors who defied the odds, proving that power isn't inherited, it's earned. Act 1. The African warrior, Imani of the Flame. End. The unforgiving furnace of 14th century West Africa, deep in the old Sahel, where lions roared louder than thunder and kingdoms clashed like gods. At war, a boy named Imani was born into silence. His mother died during childbirth. His father was a slain general, executed for refusing to betray his king. From the moment Imani opened his eyes, life handed him nothing but fire. No name, no family, no voice, only the taste of dust and a dream too bold for a child to become the greatest warrior the Mali Empire had ever known. At only 13, Imani trained in secret with a broken spearhead he found buried in the sand, a relic of a past battle. K practiced under moonlight, his arms shaking from starvation, his lips cracked from thirst, his spirit chained by the mockery of older warriors. "You're too small," they said, "too soft, too cursed." But inside Imani was something primal, a storm his enemies would soon learn had no mercy. One night, raiders from a rival tribe attacked their village under a blood-red sky. Flaming arrows rained from the heavens. Screams shattered the silence. Warriors fell. Fires consumed huts like hungry gods. In that chaos, the boy who once trained in shadows stepped into the heart of war. With nothing but that jagged spearhead bound to a stick, Imani didn't run. He charged. He cut through raiders like lightning, struck faster than eyes could follow. His movements fueled by rage, grief, and destiny. By dawn, the village was reduced to ash, but Imani stood in its center, bloodied, burnt, trembling, ... yet undefeated. Dozens lay slain at his feet, not from luck, from instinct, from will, from the fire inside. That day, even the elders knelt before him. They renamed him Imani of the Flame. At just 14, he was no longer a boy. He was legend. He would go on to unify 3 fractured clans and become the youngest general in Mali's history. And the message: you do not need to be born in power to become powerful. No matter where you begin, in dust, in pain, in silence, the fire inside you can rewrite destiny. You are not your past. You are your fight. Act 2. The Chinese warrior. Xia Oolong, the last breath. Now we journey east to the misty mountains of the Han Dynasty, a land shaped by jades, scrolls, and steel. In a remote village forgotten by war and kings lived a boy called Xiaolong, Little Dragon. His family were herbalists, humble, peaceful, untouched by the swords of dynasties. But fate doesn't knock, it crashes. At 15, Xiao watched his entire village massacred by a roaming warlord. His mother burned alive, his father strung from bamboo. His world turned red, his breath turned hollow. But even in grief, Xiao saw something others didn't, a path hidden in the pain. He fled into the Wudang Mountains, starving, freezing, half mad, until monks found him unconscious in snow, hands still clenched into fists. They took him in, not out of pity, but because they saw it. It's the dragon's eye, that rare fire that cannot be taught, only endured. For the next 4 years, Xiao trained in the harshest of ways. His bones were shattered and healed again. He meditated under waterfalls until his skin peeled from the cold. He practiced the sword blindfolded in storms and was taught that true power is not in the weapon, but in the will behind it. By 19, Xiaolong descended the mountain, no longer a boy, but a living storm in human form. He returned to the land of blood with a single sword and faced the warlord's army, hundreds against one. They laughed, called him a ghost. But when the dust settled, only one walked away. Sahel didn't just defeat the warlord, he dismantled the entire chain of corruption behind him, not by rage, but by precision. Cold, calm, unbreakable. He never took a throne, never chased gold. He disappeared into legend, a ghost that taught a lesson deeper than war. You are not what they did to you. You are what you become in response. No matter how brutal the world, the storm inside you can become your sword. Act 3. The Greek warrior, Alexios, son of nobody. And now we enter the marble ruins of ancient Greece. Temples, democracy, philosophy, but also betrayal, slavery, and conquest. In the city of Sparta, where boys were carved into warriors like statues from birth, there lived one child who was never chosen. His name was Alexios, a bastard. His mother was a servant, his father unknown. He was mocked, spat on, beaten daily by noble boys who wore names like armor. But Alexios didn't break. He listened, he watched, he absorbed every insult like a seed drinking rain. And while others slept, he trained with stolen scrolls, copied sword drills from the shadows, and wrestled in silence with the tree trunks, vines, and ghosts of the gods. At 16, when the Spartans hosted the unforged trials, a savage test of strength, strategy, and survival, Alexios entered without permission, laughed out of the arena. But when one contender dropped dead mid-trial, he took his place. No food, no armor, no allies. Over 12 days, he survived every round, outran sons of generals, outfought boys bred for battle. In the final test, the right of wolves, where contenders are dropped into the wild to kill or be killed by the sacred beasts of Sparta. Alexios returned alone, dragging not one, but 3 wolf pelts over his shoulders, eyes wild, chest bleeding, unshaken. When asked how he did it, he said nothing. He just pointed to the scars across his body. He didn't win because he was stronger. He won because he had nothing to lose. Because pain wasn't his enemy. It was his fuel. The city named him Alexios, the Unforged. Not because he was born strong, but because he forged himself. And that is the lesson we leave you with. Greatness does not require a name. It requires pain. It's discipline, fire, and the will to turn your scars into swords. Now it's your turn. Which warrior resonates with you the most? Why? Share your thoughts below. And remember, your story is your story. Even if the world doesn't give you a name, you can forge one for yourself. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.